Letecia Stauch is accused of killing her 11-year-old stepson Gannon back in January of 2020. On the stand now, Deputy Jason Hess. He was on the case in the days after Gannon was reported missing. Let's listen together to more of his testimony.
That you were readily able to locate Gannon?
No, I did not.
In the afternoon time, did you actually go to Gannon's home at 6627 Mandan Drive?
Yes, I did.
Why did you go there?
I wanted to clarify the timeline because I had not been part of the initial part of the investigation on when he would have left the house. So as I knocked on doors at different neighbors, I had a timeline to ask to look at their security camera feeds.
Did you have any contact with people at that residence?
Yes, I did.
Who was there?
There were several people that were unidentified to me. I think friends and family members, Letecia and Eugene.
So the defendant and Gannon's father?
Yes, and their daughter.
Did you try to verify a time from the defendant that would be of note for the investigation?
Yes.
What did she tell you?
It was between 3:15 and 4-ish approximately when he would have left the house.
Did she describe in that statement to you what she was doing when she reports that Gannon left the house?
Between her and her daughter during the conversation, it came up that a candle had been knocked over and there was a burn mark on the carpet, and she had been taking care of that when Gannon left.
Trying to fix that burn area?
Yes.
Did she describe in any detail anything about that candle or burn incident to you?
Not specifically, no.
Okay. Did you ask the defendant what friend's house Gannon may have been heading towards?
Yes, I did.
What did she tell you?
She didn't know.
Did you then return to the house on a later date, January 31st, 2020?
Yes, I did.
Why did you go on that date?
I received a phone call from our investigations division, and they asked me to go to the house and told me that Letecia and some family members might be removing property from the house, and that they thought Letecia and another daughter of hers might be wearing smartwatches that could potentially contain some digital evidence that may be helpful in the investigation.
Did you in fact go to the house?
Yes, I did.
Did you see different vehicles than other times when you'd been in the neighborhood?
Yes, there was a van that was there, and then some other just personal cars.
Let's talk about that van. What do you remember about the van?
It was a not like a U-Haul moving van, but a van that you could, like a cargo van that you could pack stuff in, and they were unloading items from the house and packing it into the van.
Was it a white van?
Yes, it was.
Did you also see a Nissan vehicle there?
Yes, I did. I believe it was silver, if I recall correctly.
I'm sorry, say that last part.
I believe it was silver, if I recall correctly.
Okay. Do you remember, was it a Nissan Altima?
Sounds correct, yes.
How many people did you see there that were helping the defendant move things out of the house into the van as you described it?
There were probably 4 or so directly, but there were also other people present. So what each person's role was, I don't know exactly, but I know there were a couple at the van helping load stuff. I believe an aunt that was there as well as her mother.
So let's talk about the aunt. Was that person Brenda Awkward?
I believe so, yes.
And spelling on that, do you remember it off the top of your head? Does ACQUARD sound correct?
Sounds correct.
What vehicle was Brenda Awkward associated with?
Nissan, I believe.
Was she in fact the driver of that vehicle?
I believe so, yes.
Did you talk to her at all? And I'm not asking you for statements, but did you talk to her?
It would have been briefly, yes.
Okay. Other people that you identified that were associated with the defendant and potentially helping her load things into the van, can you tell us those names?
I do not recall everybody's name, but I remember Harley was there, her mother was there, her aunt. I think there was another male that was there assisting as well.
Harley, who was that in relation to the defendant?
Daughter.
Okay. And then mother, is that Deborah?
Yes.
And then you said a male. Would that be Dakota Lowry?
I believe so, yes.
Do you know his relation to the defendant?
Not specifically. I thought he was a son, but I wasn't exactly sure.
Okay. Lieutenant, when I was asking you earlier if you remember the number of the person that you called on the morning of January 28th, you said you didn't remember, but if you looked at your report, you might be able to remember.
Yes, I documented that in my report.
I've got your report here. Would showing you that refresh your memory on that point?
Yes, it would.
Or ask for permission to approach the witness for refreshing his memory.
You may go ahead.
Yes.
Does that refresh your memory?
Yes, it does.
What number was that?
843-655-7460.
Thank you. I want to get into more detail about the statement that you got from the defendant when you went to the house after that phone call on January 28th. How long would you say that conversation lasted?
Just a couple of minutes.
Do you remember details of what she told you in that conversation?
Some of it, yes.
What do you remember specifically her telling you?
I had asked her if she knew where Gannon had gone, so I had a direction to go to and contact that house or houses in between. She said that she did not know. Her daughter made a comment about her mom being...
Mr. Allen?
I was reading the report and I couldn't tell who he was referring to there.
He said her daughter.
Yeah, so I'm not asking you for any statements right now. From daughter. I'm asking you for statements of the defendant.
Okay. She had made mention that she might have got a little excited during the fire during that.
Okay. Did she describe specifically what she did in relation to that fire?
I recall her saying she tried to put it out with a blanket, and originally the blanket caused it to get slightly bigger, and then she was able to put it out.
So basically, was she describing that she was trying to smother the fire?
Yes.
Did she describe, and when I say she again, I'm talking about the defendant, did she describe that Gannon had got something on his shirt?
Overruled. Go ahead and answer.
Yes.
What did she say about that?
It was pretty vague. It was just he had something on the front of his shirt that had gotten on there during the fire incident.
Okay, may I have just a moment here?
You may.
Was there a younger daughter there as well?
Yes.
Did you ever get that daughter's name?
I did not.
Would you say rough age?
Approximately 8.
Did she at some point point to you a direction of which direction Gannon may have walked to?
Yes, she did.
And which direction was she generally pointing?
She pointed east from the house, referring to a friend of Gannon's that lived a few houses down.
Okay. Now I want to get into some other information as it relates to your experience and then what you learned in this case. Have you responded out to other calls where a kid in this rough age range is missing or had run away?
Yes, I have.
How many types of those calls have you gone out to, would you say?
It'd be hard to put a number on it, but over my career, a lot, probably in excess of 30 runaway or missing persons style calls.
When you go out to those types of calls, have you had opportunities to observe people's emotional reactions to that sort of an event?
Yes, I have.
Is it fair to say that the emotional reactions can vary?
Yes, it is.
Based on your contact with this defendant in this case, did her reactions and the way that she was interacting with you, was it consistent with other times that you've gone out on these types of calls or different?
Overruled. I don't think Mr. Allen is asking for an expert opinion. I think he's asking for an opinion based on his prior encounters with other individuals. So it goes to weight, not admissibility. Overruled. You can go ahead and answer.
All right, the officer there on the stand talking about reactions, emotions, those kind of things are going to come into play in the prosecution of this case in front of this jury. We'll get you back into the courtroom in just a moment. Stay with us.
It's a mystery that's captivated the nation.
This stretches just so beyond what anyone could imagine.
And left a trail of dead bodies.
Lori Vallow Daybell, accused of triple murder, including her 2 youngest children.
You'll hear every dramatic moment with real-time expert analysis.
It's just so hard to know where the truth ends.
The Doomsday Cult Mom Murder Trial. Coverage begins next week after jury selection, only on Court TV.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. Right now on the stand, one of the main detectives who was looking for little Gannon back in 2020. We're following the stepmother murder trial in Colorado. Let's get back into court where he is now under cross.
That suffer from dissociative identity disorder.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't know exactly what disorder people may have to be suffering from.
Do you know if you've ever dealt with anybody who suffered from dissociative identity disorder?
I would believe I've probably come in contact with them, yes.
How many?
I don't know.
No further questions.
Redirect.
Did the defendant, based on what you just testified to, did she appear to be suffering from dissociative identity disorder?
No.
Thank you.
Do any of the jurors have any questions for Lieutenant Hess? No? All right. Thank you, sir. You may step down.